Last time on Cyberphile. We learned that something far more sinister is at work here on the Nameless Island, worked our way through the Village of Smiles, learning about its morbid history along the way, and faced off against the dreaded Queen of Smiles. Greetings, Saltborn, and welcome back to Cyberphile, Episode 4 of From the Depths, my lore-enhanced Salt and Sanctuary walkthrough. So, on the last episode, you saw in the little intro what we got done, but I missed an item over here, so I'm going to run back and get it. It's actually another charm for our weapon, and I'm going to make sure to get it because it's actually a pretty good one. I always miss this door. Every couple playthroughs there'll just be one where I'm like, why don't I have that charm? Oh yeah. So, let's grab this, and this actually increases our attack power with our weapon, so that's what we're going to equip, that blood flower, which is known to be a common sort of symbol of war. So if you were to leave blood flowers at your neighbor's doorstep, they would expect you to hate them and start a war with them. So we're going to head over to the Watching Woods this time. There's a little bit that we need to clean up in the Village of Smiles, but mostly we're going to be heading to the Watching Woods. Also, I just want to give a huge thank you to everyone who's been supporting Cyberphile, especially the Salt and Sanctuary community, as we've hit 50 subscribers. So, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy what's to come. So we're just going to cut through these guys here. And then there's another one of those bronze Kraken Knights up here. Okay, I gotta be careful. Pretty much the only way to fight these guys is to, not get hit, is to wait for the parry, which my timing is very wrong today. In my credit, it's been a couple days since I played, so cut me some slack. Yeah. There we go. Get stuffed. Woo! Oh wow, we got a little bit of Kraken armor too. As I recall, it's super duper heavy though. Yeah, we're not even that far to be able to equip it. Coming back this way, this is just the back entrance to the Village of Smiles. But there's an item or two that we can grab over here. And we're gonna want to get very, very familiar with our jumping abilities. Now we picked up a ring that boosts endurance, and I'd rather have that than our Kismet Stone. Over here is where a bunch of saltless are, and these guys can be really tough early on. In fact, we'll fight a bunch of them later in the game. Let's just get out of here. We're getting fucked up. As you can see, we're sort of spraying blood everywhere, thanks to their flasks of defilement that they have. So we're kind of defiled here, and we'll take extra damage until that wears off, so I don't want to really mess with them. I'm just going to double back to the Sanctuary, get our flasks back, and then we'll head towards the woods. Alrighty, so I went back, got my flasks back, and I've leveled up once or twice, and now we are heading into the Watching Woods. So, the Watching Woods lies just east of Livin, in the forests on the eastern continent. And here you can find mostly tribes of the forest-dwelling Vilehawks. And there are many different tribes of them, but they all kind of work together. And we're going to run into Vilehawks very soon. In fact, I hear one, just hit us with a bow and an arrow. So these guys are kind of bastards. But they're self-governing. The Livin... Where is this guy? There he is. The Livin royalty leave them alone. And they just kind of do their own thing. If one of them, say, gets into trouble with the authorities, they will just very quickly be like, well, guess that's it then, and then just turn them in. Because they really don't want to have to deal with the much more powerful royal army, but at the same time, the army doesn't really know what they have, so they're kind of like wary of the Vilehawk tribes. Now, as we've been exploring and killing things, we've been collecting... Let's see if I can find the thing here. We've been collecting, like, their body parts, and most interestingly is the ear. So we have one from the bloated monstrosity, we have the Queen of Smiles ear, here's a drowned peasant's ear. Now, the cutting off and keeping of ears as a sort of war trophy actually originated here in the Watching Woods with the Vilehawks. And their whole idea behind it was the more ears we have, the more we can hear the minute details of the forest. So that was their idea behind it. We got a couple Vilehawks and poisoned cytoplasms to deal with. We just got poisoned. We need to get an antidote on our quick bar. There we go. May as well quaff a shard too. Okay. So due to these Vilehawks, and much like our character right now actually, the Livin' authorities tend to use spears so that they can easily take them down from the trees. And the Vilehawk tribes are all very peculiar creatures, and some of the tribes are even cannibalistic in nature. They'll eat humans and possibly even their own, though I don't have any evidence as to whether or not they'll eat each other. These poison cytoplasms are pretty annoying if you can't get some good hits on them. There we go. So that's most of what I have to say about the forest-dwelling Vilehawks. Now I want to just talk about the Watching Woods from a game standpoint. Not so much a lore standpoint. And there's really no point in me coming over here, now that I think about it, because this just leads to the Sunken Fortress. Sunken Castle. Sunken Keep, that's it. And we can't do anything over here just yet. But it'll be a little shortcut eventually. So at any rate, from a game standpoint, a lot of people really hate the Watching Woods. And reason being is because of all of the platforming. Now, I think that this is no mistake. There's a definite reason as to why the Watching Woods is so painful for a lot of people, and that's because the Watching Woods is a scrub stomper. I'll say it as simple as it is. It's sort of designed to make you good at the platforming, because you're gonna have to be good at the platforming in Salt and Sanctuary. And it really annoys first-time players, because they're just not familiar with it. But from a mechanical standpoint, it's an excellent idea to have just this area that is mostly focused on jumping and platforming and timing your jumps and being careful. I think it's very necessary. Let's see, I don't think we can make that jump. I think it's a good design choice. So, next time you're hating on the Watching Woods, think about how it prepares you for next time. And for those of you who are already pretty experienced in the world of Salt and Sanctuary, don't you think that the Watching Woods is pretty easy now? Now that you've been through it maybe a couple of times, and you've been through the whole game, you've got the platforming down, so to speak. So personally, I think it's a smart decision. So, up here is a little secret area. So let's... Come on, where's that other platform? There it is. There we go. Hop back down. I'd say the most annoying thing about the Watching Woods, once you're experienced with it, is just the poison cytoplasms. Because they'll just hop on you and poison you more or less instantly. They're not too hard to deal with, they're just annoying. They usually die in just a couple hits. Ooh, that one kind of glitched out. Yeah, you see that? He just disappeared. Let's just stab that one. Ooh, this looks like a perfect opportunity for us to use our... well, maybe not. I don't think I ever equipped those bolts. No, I didn't. There we go. Now, what I was saying. A perfect opportunity for us to use our crossbow. It's going to be L2. Not very powerful, but... yeah, point blank. We got most of our bolts back, too. The ones we didn't miss, anyway. So, let's head over here and grab this item. And continue our way through the Watching Woods. Reason it's named that way, the reason why it's called the Watching Woods is because of all the Vilehawk tribes. So it always feels like you've got eyes on you, and that the woods themselves are watching you. In reality, it's just the Vilehawks, but it's that sort of sensation, that feeling, that, hey, I'm being watched. So, I've got a bloated monstrosity to deal with. Ooh, I better be careful. There we go. There we go. He took a beating. So down and to the right is our next sanctuary, but first I want to grab the items that are hidden on top of the sanctuary. So over here. There we go. Some leather gear, which is actually heavy armor. There it is. Can we equip it without... oh, that's the chef's trousers. Without being super encumbered? Yeah, seem to be alright. Looks kind of cool. We don't look quite so, basic, I guess. Now we're going to head over here into our first sanctuary that's not of the three that we were introduced to. This is the sanctuary of the Stone Roots Creed. So, let's talk to this little guy here. He's not little, he's just sitting. And then I'll talk about the Stone Roots. Oh, a stranger comes to this mossy belly of a tree. No worries, I'll set you straight. Have you ever met a woods wraith? I mean, I have, but let's say no. Well, well, well. I'm a stone root, or as some call me, a woods wraith. For thousands of years we've stayed in the forest. Our allegiance has always been to the spirits of the woods. Men have invented, praised, and died for countless fleeting gods and demons, but our forest is forever. The worst of our reputation most likely comes from our love of poisons. But, my friend, poison is a wondrous thing. Poison, like the forest, seeps through the realm of men, spreading, corrupting, invading, until all is reduced to earth. Man is truly a wretched thing, and the forest is committed to expunging him from existence. But woods wraiths protect the forest, so the forest protects us. You want to be a woods wraith? Want to cast off the shackles of false gods and bask in the poisonous shadows of the forest? Approach the altar. Take the oath. Alrighty, so we're not going to take the oath to be a woods wraith. I am going to switch creeds, but not until much later. There's a creed that works out much better for us, and from a story standpoint, after seeing all the horrors that are on this island, our character's faith is starting to fade a little bit. So, before I finish this episode, though, let's talk a little bit about the Stone Roots Creed. So, the Stone Roots Creed believes in the more elemental, spiritual feeling of the forest. They sort of believe that, in the old days, each tree was a god. And to different tribes of wood wraiths, that tree could be a different god to each tribe. So one tree could be 3 different gods to 3 different tribes. Now, and they believe in this sort of elemental, spiritual nature, not unlike, say, pagan religions believe in the elemental feelings of other living things like trees and rocks and things of that nature. Stone Roots was perhaps the first creed, actually, dating way back, and in fact, the people who tend to follow the Stone Roots creeds underdeveloped and impoverished nations. So, the most common are obviously the areas east of Livin in the Watching Woods. In fact, the Vilehawks follow the Stone Roots creed. Cadania, which is where they get their red grass, which you can see equipped in my hotbar up there, their healing items, and also from Tanager, which we've already talked about being an impoverished nation. It's good that they don't have very many followers, because the red grass is incredibly difficult to harvest in such a pure form. And the last thing I'm going to say about the Stone Roots Creed before putting this episode to rest is that they have no real structure or written beliefs. They simply believe in the elemental nature of the forest. So we've got ourselves another gray pearl and black pearl, and the gray pearl you can use to refund points. Remember when I grabbed that light armor by mistake? I refunded that earlier. And then we're not going to need strength in our build, I don't think. So we've got no problem refunding that for an extra black pearl, and we can spend that elsewhere. So let's get our class 2 marksman. There we go. Our crossbow should be a little more deadly now. Alrighty. So we are good to go. Ooh, we don't fat roll anymore now that we have that slightly lighter armor. Sweet. Okay, so on the next episode of From the Depths with Cyberphile, we are going to tackle the next boss, the Mad Alchemist. And I'll tell you the little bit that we do know about him. I'll see you then. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more Cyberphile content. And if you like this video, show me with that little thumbs up button. If you liked this video, you might like one of my other videos. You can click right on the boxes to jump to them. Cyberphile, offline.